Hello, good morning friends. You all must be fine at your home. Today I am going to teach you angle closure glaucoma. You can learn this from your Google Baba or from book. But today I am going to teach you how to manage, how to evaluate a case of acute congestive glaucoma. Congestive glaucoma is a case you have to diagnose if you are not doing post-graduation at peripheral level also. So there are few topics which one should know about the details and how to make diagnosis of red eye. So in the red eye, DD of red eye, angle closure glaucoma is one of the cause. I am not, what are the objectives of my topics? You should know by the end of this session what is the mechanism of angle closure glaucoma and how do you manage a different stage of acute congestive glaucoma, or different stages, how will you manage a case. Normal anatomy, you must know about this. In short, I am going to say what we are seeing with the gonio lens, that is from anterior to posterior, is a Solbes line, trabecular meshwork, scleral spur, ciliary body and root of the iris. Now, this is the diagram. One can see where is the trabecular meshwork, ciliary body. This is the, you can see the image here and see properly, observe properly and know what are the structure in the angle of the anterior chamber. Next slide. What is the primary angle closure glaucoma? Glaucoma is a disease in which everybody is knowing what is the definition of glaucoma. Glaucoma is a disease in which the optic nerve ischemia, which is described by or which is diagnosed by the field of defect, optic nerve head changes, and IOP is a risk factor. So you have to monitor IOP also. You have to monitor these changes, and also you have to monitor for field changes. Now, see what is the primary angle closure glaucoma, in which the angle is blocked by the peripheral part of the iris. That is, trabecular meshwork is occluded in the angle closure glaucoma, which leads to raised IOP. Now, what are the risk factors of congestive glaucoma? In the 6th or 7th decade, many times we are observing early age also. Ancient female are more susceptible for this. Asians are more susceptible for angle closure glaucoma. Family history is also positive. Hypermetropic patient is supposed to have a pupillary block glaucoma. Short eye, that is also hypermetropic eye. Hypermetropia, in which the length of the anterior chamber, length of the axial length is less. In this small eye, iris lens diaphragm is normal. Lens is of normal size, so less space in the angle, less space in the posterior chamber. So there are chances of pupillary block glaucoma. So these are the risk factors. Now this is the angle. You can see the normal side is A side. Close angle is seen in B slide. Watch properly, then you can understand. There are two mechanisms by which angle can be blocked. One is pupillary block glaucoma, second one is without pupillary block glaucoma. So in pupillary block glaucoma, how the angle can become a narrow or block? You have to remember the figure. Can you show me figure? If lens iris diaphragm is larger, lens is larger than normal, and eye is short, so during the accommodation or many condition, if patient is lying down in prone position in dark light, so short eye and normal size of lens, it comes forwards. So there is very less gap between iris and lens. So the edge of the pupil is coming very closer to the lens. So there may be a chances of angle closure glaucoma. You can see the position of the lens. when it becomes accommodated. So by this way, the trabecular meshwork is blocked with the back of the iris process. So there is a raised IOP, and this is a vicious circle. The aqueous is accumulated in the posterior chamber. Now iris pupil is not allowed to come into the anterior chamber. So the iris of the peripheral iris in the eye will become move forwards. So by that way, the secondarily the trabecular meshwork is blocked. So when pupillary block is there, the angle can be occluded by the iris Bombay mechanism. Now you can understand what is the pupillary block and what is the iris Bombay. Without pupillary block, what will be there? Pupil is not blocked, but there are some condition, that is thicker and or anteriorly positioned iris, plate to iris configuration, and normal or slightly shallow anterior chamber. When mid-dilated pupil will be there, which is there in physiological when patient comes into the dim illumination like in night, in evening hours, or patient may visit to the cinema at that time. In dark area, there will be a pupillary, mild pupillary, mid pupillary dilatation, which is followed by angle closure glaucoma. But each and every patient will not have a angle closure glaucoma at that time. But patient is having headache. So when patient is having headache, he is not supposed to see movie properly. He might leave the theater, and when he or she will comes to home, there will be a headache, so he will go to the sleep. So there is normal termination of angle of the anterior chamber, which is relieved because when he or she will sleep, there will be a what? Meiosis. So meiosis means pupillary block will be relieved and patient goes to sleep. So ciliary muscle will be all normal position. So there is a natural termination of blockage of the anterior, blockage of the pupillary, natural termination of pupillary block, which is leading into removal of iris Bombay as well as anterior. There is very less space between pupil and less. Then when meiosis will be there, there will be a much more space. So aqueous can be drained from pupil into the anterior chamber, from anterior chamber into trabecular meshwork, and this is a termination of angle closure glaucoma. Next one. Same here. Next. This is in second slide you can see the little bit synechia is there. So when there is a synechia formation, when chronic patient is having chronically angle closure glaucoma, means subacute form of angle closure glaucoma. Off and on patient will have a symptoms like headache and many times dimness of vision. So, but patient doesn't come to the hospital or eye surgeon, he or she will develop little bit synechia, adhesion between anterior chamber, adhesion between periphery of the iris with the trabecular meshwork. Next one. Now, clinical classification of primary angle closure: suspect, subacute primary angle closure, acute primary angle closure, and chronic primary angle closure glaucoma. This is given in book, but in other way I am going to teach you. When patient comes to you, you have to diagnose how the patient is a case of chronic or open angle glaucoma. Acute congestive glaucoma, when patient comes to you, the symptoms and signs will be different. But in subacute or in prodromal stage, there will be a very less symptom. But patient comes to us as an ophthalmologist, there will be a frequent change of spectacles. Many times you prescribe the glasses at the age of 35 or 40 plus 1. But patient comes to you within 6 months. Now I am not able to see this with these glasses. So we have to think of two diseases. One is glaucoma and second one is diabetes. So how to evaluate these cases, that I am going to teach you. When patient comes to you, you have to examine the patient on slit lamp. You can see little bit anterior chamber is shallow. To measure the anterior chamber clinically is a skillful or expert can see. You cannot make out on torchlight or on slit lamp when there is very less shallow anterior chamber. So we have to examine this patient on slit lamp. After that, we have to assess visual acuity. We have to see near vision also. Then we have to, if patient is required near glasses, we have to match. At the age of 35, patient should not wear +2 diopter. So we have to think of this, this patient is hypermetropic. We have to evaluate on gonio lens. We have to do gonioscopy. By that we can make out what is the occludable angle, what is the grading of the angle. The grading is also not very much important for you people, because gonioscopy is not allowed for you people. But you have to make out what is the angle of the anterior chamber. Then you may dilate the patient. This is physiological or pharmacological. If you will allow first measure the IOP, this is provocative test by which one can know that this patient may have an occludable angle or may have an attack of acute angle closure glaucoma. So for that we have some certain test. Physiologically we have to allow the patient to sit in the OPD in dark room for more than half an hour. But we want to have a very early result or very early diagnosis. You have to put patient in prone position. So this is a abnormal position, and patient is hypermetropia with narrow angle. If he is allowed to sleep on prone position, there will be a more forward displacement of lens, so which is come in contact with pupillary area or diaphragm of the iris diaphragm. So if it is patient is having hypermetropia with small axial length with normal size of lens, and in dark light there will be a mid pupillary dilatation, there may be a attack of angle closure glaucoma, or you may have a IOP more than 8 millimeter. So this is a diagnostic test. Second one is pharmacological. You have to dilate the pupil in the, we are not allowing this patient to sit in dark room, but we have to put mydriatic, mild cycloplegic like tropicamide. So action of tropicamide will disappear within 6 hours. The patient will not have much more problem. And it is also reversible. If patient is having raised IOP, we may put pilocarpine to constrict the pupil. So when you will measure IOP, prior to putting dilator, we have to measure the IOP. IOP means intraocular pressure by tonometer. Which tonometer? Applanation tonometer. After that, when patient will having mid-dilated pupil, again we have to measure the IOP. When it is more than 8 millimeter of first measure IOP, this is a diagnosis of angle closure glaucoma. For these cases, we have to go for prophylaxis peripheral, prophylaxis laser hydrotomy. So this is a diagnostic test. But vision we have to measure and correction we have to give. We have to measure axial length also. So we can make out this is hypermetropic patient which is having small eye, which is having narrow anterior or shallow anterior chamber. Now what else we are doing? Patient gives history of changes of spectacles as well as often on headache. But headache, all patients are not sensitive to headache. Many patients are sensitive, some are not sensitive. Sensitive persons comes to the ophthalmologist. Otherwise, the patient which are not sensitive to that headache, tolerance is good, then they are not supposed to come to the ophthalmologist. What would be there? Frequently, these attacks will be there. Mild dilatation. This is a vicious circle which is going on. Normally, lens is growing up to the age of 82 years, 0.0041 millimeter per year up to the age of 82 years. As age advances, there will be a lens size will be increase. Eye is small. So these patients are more susceptible to have this. That's why in 6 or 7 decades, we may see the more cases. But this patient is having also cataracts. So we are doing cataract extraction. So there will be a space in the posterior chamber. Posterior chamber. So patient does not have this attack after cataract surgery. Patient is not sensitive to this pain and all symptoms. Many times patient comes to us as an ophthalmic emergency, as an acute primary angle closure glaucoma. Now what are the signs at this time? Next slide. Patient have symptoms and signs. Patient will have severe pain. Then many sensitive patient or many ONCS patient will have also vomiting, pain and vomiting, dimness of vision. These three are the main symptoms. So patient comes to us with severe pain. We are examining this patient. Where are the sign symptoms? Third, angle closure glaucoma. This slide should be okay. Sudden occlusion of entire angle, acute rise of IOP, symptoms severe unilateral eye ache, headache, dimness of vision, red eye, nausea may be associated. What we are seeing as a sign, we are allowing this patient to sit on slit lamp. Before that, we are measuring the vision. Vision will be less. In raised IOP, when we are observing or examining the patient on slit lamp, there will be corneal edema, ciliary congestion. Corneal edematous patient, we are not supposed to take IOP because in applanation tonometer, we are using what? Fluorescent dye. So, corneal edema, minor trauma can lead to epithelial defect and they are more susceptible for having some infection. That's why we avoid when patient is having, there is a contraindication when patient will have edema, you should not take IOP. Clinically, you can see this patient's eye, there is corneal edema, anterior chamber is shallow, pupil is mid-dilated or semi-dilated, vertically oval, non-reacting to light. So, acute congestive glaucoma and iridocyclitis both can be differentiated by the size of pupil. In iridocyclitis, pupil will be small, myotic, and in acute congestive glaucoma, pupil will be dilated. So, in periphery, if you are not having this slit lamp, you can make diagnosis when pupil pain with miosis, there is iridocyclitis. Pain with mydriasis, that is acute congestive glaucoma. I have already told how there will be a mid-dilated pupil and how the IOP is raised. Now next one, this is the picture, clinical picture in which you can see hazy cornea, mid-dilated pupil with red eye. Ciliary congestion you cannot make out in this slide, but ciliary congestion must be there. You should know what are the signs, what are the differentiating point of conjunctival congestion and ciliary congestion. Corneal edema. Now, Fox triad. There is a when patient recover from acute congestive glaucoma and off and on he or she will have this attack, there will be a signs of iris atrophy, glaucom flecken, cataract, subcapsular, anterior subcapsular cataract and pigment dispersion on corneal endothelium. This is glaucom flecken. Now, how will you manage a case of acute congestive glaucoma? This acute congestive glaucoma, you may have a full question in your exam. This is ophthalmic emergency. First, you have to see the vision. Vision is very less. Then, on slit lamp, there will be corneal edema and all signs of acute congestive glaucoma. First, we have to give hyperosmotic agent, but in the form of intravenous route. By intravenous route, we can give mannitol. Dose is 1 gram per kg body weight. So, directly you have to start injection mannitol, IV. Then you have to give glycerol. Then you have to give carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, Diamox tablet. So, within 24 hours, IOP will become less. Not a single drug which will act topically when IOP is raised more than 60 millimeter of mercury. When patient is coming with acute congestive glaucoma, IOP must be raised more than 60 millimeter. So topically, timolol, pilocarpine and other drugs will not act. So you have to give intravenous mannitol, tablet Diamox and liquid glycerol orally. After 24 hours, IOP become less, nearly 30 to 40 millimeter of mercury. You may try now topical all drugs like timolol, pilocarpine, and others drugs. You all are aware of all these drugs, but today's topic we are not going to discuss about glaucoma drugs. Now, what will be there? After giving that all drugs, intravenous, oral, then topical, IOP returns to normal. Now, this in society to prevent blindness, we have a role. Now, what we have to do? We have to do prophylaxis PBI in both eyes. This is the definitive management. Otherwise, the patient may come into chronic angle-closure glaucoma. So, prophylaxis of that eye and other eye. Both eye we have to go for peripheral laser iridotomy. And the YAG laser usually we are using. Now, next stage, if patient doesn't come into this stage or you have not done this prophylaxis PBI, recurrent attack of acute congestive glaucoma may ended with formation of what? Peripheral anterior synechia. So more than 270 degree of synechia. You are very less back. Not 240, 270 degree synechia in the eye with painful eye with less vision is a sequelae of untreated acute congestive recurrent attack of glaucoma. So patient will have very less vision, severe pain, ciliary congestion, cornea edematous, then pupil is not reacting to light. When we will see with the gonio lens, there is ophthalmoscope, optic disc has a changes, there will be a cupping. If you will see the field of vision, it is restricted. So when patient reach to third age, one should go for AGS surgery because now drugs will not act because patient will have a synechia and posterior synechia and the anterior posterior synechia. Then the patient's IOP is raised, which is not drained because pupil is mid-dilated and more than 270 degrees peripheral anterior synechia is there. So you have to go for AGS surgery. If patient doesn't come in this stage also, then there will be a absolute glaucoma and patient will have a painful blind eye. It is written in Parson also, any painful blind eye, you have to go for enucleation because this long-standing painful blind eye may harbor the carcinoma. So, chronic angle-closure glaucoma, just I reminding everyone, IOP is raised, more than 270 degree synechia, then optic nerve head changes like cupping is there, nasalization of vessels is there, and on the field there will be a peripheral constriction of field of vision. This is the last warning to save remaining vision. So you have to go for AGS surgery. First conventional AGS you have to try. Then only higher end surgery we are preferring. So this is the end of my topic. I have covered each and everything which is important, which is not given in book and which is practically important as well as theoretically important. In absence of you people, to teach the topic without interaction is difficult for us also because we are clinicians. So with discussion, with your question and answer, this has become more effective. Thank you.